Doug Karsch, Scott Anderson, 97.1 The Ticket, open lines, 248-539-9797. We appreciate everybody's thoughts and ideas just talking about the Orlando shooting. And it's good to, every once in a while bring stuff like this up. And, I hope you kind of wait for that flashpoint moment where something's going to change for the better. Smarter and more qualified people than us will make these decisions. And this is very, very complicated and sad, man. This is such a great country, and to see stuff like what's going on. And it's not just Orlando. Last week in Detroit was brutal.
Chicago.
Gun violence needs.
Chicago had their issues last week, a couple weeks ago.
Yep.
I mean, it's a violent society today, and it's awful when you hear about things that happen, like what happened over the weekend.
There's just a real problem with coping and tolerance of other ideas and other people. Gator, we are streaming live now on Facebook Live, so you can go to our Facebook page and follow the show along live right now, if you so choose.
So the Karsch Anderson Facebook page, or is it just 97.1 The Ticket? 97.1 The Ticket Facebook page. Yeah.
Thank you, Evan. Let's get into the Tigers a little bit over the weekend. We often discuss after a weekend, what is the most important thing to come out of the weekend? We got two things that we think are pretty important. You go first.
Well, I think that it's real important to see that Michael Fulmer, the rookie sensation, he's no joke. I think he's the real deal. I mean, we've got a pretty good sample size here where he's made 9 starts. The Tigers have won 8 of the 9 starts. He is 7-1 on the year with a 2.5 something ERA. His scoreless inning streak now is at 28 1/3, where he's also had 3 straight starts, I think 3 or 4 straight starts with 3 hits or less, which only he and Jake Arrieta are the 2 players that have done this in the last 100 years. That tells you he's pitching well. And he throws as hard as he does, and he's got secondary pitches to go with it. He's fun to watch. I mean, he was working with that slider and just had people looking foolish at the plate. Gives him a leadoff double and doesn't get rattled. And, when you play a series in New York, the Tigers had yet to win a series in New Yankee Stadium in 7 tries. Here they go again this time. They finally win that first series, in large part because Justin Verlander pitched really well and Michael Fulmer pitched very well. And the bullpen got the job done. It was a little sketchy on Saturday night, but got the job done, and K-Rod was fantastic. But I think number one for me was that Fulmer is the real deal.
For me, it's that the Tigers went out and did something I've been begging for them to do, and that is have simply a 2-game losing streak. Just lose 2 in a row. Let's not have 2 losses turn into 6 losses, which has been a problem with this team all season long. If you think about the fact that they had more 4-game losing streaks than 2-game losing streaks, last week I said, I want to see this team get on a 2-game losing streak and bounce back. Let's stop the bleeding. And that's exactly what they did. They lost the final game of the Toronto series in Detroit. They lost the first game of the Yankee series in Yankee Stadium. And then they won the next 2 to win that series. So they won the Toronto series. Now they won the Yankee series, and they're off to Chicago tonight. At the beginning of this road trip, this 10-game roadie, I said there's 6 games I like the Tigers in the pitching matchup because we have the starters for all 10 games, 2 times through the rotation. I like the Tiger starters in 6 of the 10 games. I like their opponent starters in 3 of the 10 games, and there was 1 toss-up game. The toss-up game was Friday night's game between Pelfrey and CC Sabathia. The Yankees won that toss-up game. So my expectation of the road trip goes to winning 6. It won't go exactly according to the book, but it did this weekend. JV won on Saturday, and Fulmer beating Pineda yesterday. Fulmer is just a find. And you go back 6 weeks and listen to our show. I don't know how you do that, but let's say you did. We were talking about needing somebody to emerge. The Tigers needed someone to emerge. And we specifically got into the pitching and mentioned the veterans. Shane Green, Pelfrey, Sanchez, all being candidates. Then the young guys, Fulmer, Boyd, Norris. And our conversation really came down to 3 names. The 3 names were Fulmer, Sanchez, and Green. Because there was still belief back then that Anibal Sanchez could turn into the guy that was the ERA champion, that he could still find something. Well, he faded. Green got repurposed for the bullpen, and mostly because Fulmer has turned into like the most dominant pitcher in baseball for this short period of time. But that's okay. It's coming at an important time. They've won his last 7 starts. He's given up 8 earned runs in those 7 starts, and 7 of the earned runs came in the first 2 of this 7-game stretch. He's been unbelievable. For a rookie to be this good, keep the pitch count down, keep doing what they're doing, and thank God for Shane Green's blister, because it came along at a right time for Fulmer to make his debut, prove that he's not only adequate, he's going to be good, and then Shane Green now looks like he's going to be an asset out of the bullpen. The whole thing has worked out.
Well, we talked about Cameron Maybin when he came back to this team and what a catalyst he was for a 2.5, 3 week period there where he was hitting the cover off the ball and was always on base and always scoring. The reality is, the catalyst of this team is Ian Kinsler. Another great weekend with some big home runs and had a career high with 5 RBI on Saturday night's game. But here's a crazy stat for you. 59 games this year, Ian Kinsler has scored 53 runs. You start thinking of that. I mean, it's on pace for whatever, 145 runs scored or something like that. That's crazy. We haven't seen numbers like that. You see 100, 110, maybe somebody, a leadoff hitter is great, who might get up to 120, but he's on a ridiculous pace, and he's doing it all. He leads the team in home runs and RBIs right now. Ian Kinsler, leadoff hitter, Ian Kinsler, home runs, RBIs, runs scored. That's what he's doing right now. He's been the guy for the team right now. If you had to name an MVP, it's Ian Kinsler.